Hello everybody, I'm TychoCelchuuu and welcome to a Men of War Assault Squad 2 gameplay video. I know it has been so long if you're a regular follower of this channel since I posted anything, but I am finally back. My life is not as busy as it was for a series of months, and this is a 2v2 in Assault Squad 2, the brand new video game by Digital Mindsoft. I say brand new even though it's basically Assault Squad with a few changes, but that's okay. I love the game anyways because Assault Squad was an amazing game. Assault Squad 2 is pretty good. The big changes are Steam multiplayer integration, better graphics engine, slightly nicer looking graphics. You can see the ground looks nicer, and they rebalanced a bunch of stuff. Like minimally, it's like small rebalancing, but there's rebalancing. Those are the big changes. Mostly it's the same game, and it is a lot of fun, so I'm happy to be playing it. It's a 2v2. I can't remember what my ally's name is. At some point, he or she will type something into the chat, or one of his or her units will kill something, and we'll see in the upper left. But we are, of course, playing as the Wehrmacht, the German army, and we are against the United Kingdom, a bunch of tea-drinking, worthless imperialists. So, right off the bat you notice I'm seizing the middle of this map. This is a 5 control point map, and you need to hold the majority of the assault zones, or control points, or they're called, to start ticking up to those 150 points you need to win. And I think it's really a mistake to let your opponent just have the middle uncontested, like they're letting me have the middle uncontested, unless you have something tricky planned, like you're going to assault the opponent's back points or something, because I think there's really only 2 useful things you can be doing on this map, or maps like this that are laid out like this. You can be fighting for the middle, or you can be fighting for one of the flanks. The flanks are tougher to attack because they're closer to your opponent than they are to you, but obviously no one's expecting you to go for the flanks, so you can get that. Or you can just fight over the middle like a normal human being, but my opponent is too slow. Just sends infantry too slow to the middle, and by the time they get here, I have a machine gun set up behind sandbags, I have another rifleman set up behind sandbags, and I have my squad leader, Max Kühler, crawling forward to get behind this rock to scout for me, to maybe throw some grenades for me, and maybe use his MP40. So it looks like my opponent has done a sort of conservative way of attacking the middle, which is set up some sandbags in these fields out here. This will give my opponents... that sucked. That was a rifle grenade. This will give my opponents a way to provide a heavy base of fire on the middle, so you'll notice it is working fairly well, seeing as I don't have very many infantry there. I've split my squad in two. My first squad, 3 or 4 men went to the right, and the left went to the left. The rest went to the left. I was very careful to split my machine gunner off in addition to the rest of the people I was bringing to the left, because you want your machine gunner to be where all the fighting is. Your machine gunner coming with the normal regular infantry squad. So that's why I always buy a regular infantry squad to start off with. The machine gunner is just so powerful that you want him ASAP. And so this base of fire that my opponent's putting on me is kind of annoying. I'm tied down, but honestly I don't care. If I'm tied down in the middle, that's where I want to be. If they're just dumping bullets into me and I'm dumping bullets into them and I'm mostly suppressed, you know, it's not a big deal. And this lets me sort of, it takes the pressure off. I don't have to be attacking anything. I can just sit here and defend. It takes the pressure off so I can do stuff like walk Volker Waldschmidt. What does Wald mean? I don't know what Wald means. I know Welt means world. But it lets me use Volker Waldschmidt and people like him, people who've got submachine guns, which aren't super useful at the large engagement ranges that I'm fighting, and crawl him up and do some tricky shit. And you notice he got 1 or 2 kills, maybe 3 kills, but he got a good ambush off, he got some scouting for me, and that was basically free. I mean, obviously I paid a man for it, but I got more than a man in return. And it's that kind of freeing up of the micro, the sort of no time pressure on me, no real pressure on me that you can get if you seize the middle right off the bat and you're just like, okay, I'll sit here until I'm pushed off. Like, I don't have anywhere to go. You'll notice our points are ticking up. If you look in the upper center of this recording, we've got 9 points already out of that 150 we need to defeat our enemies, who are both in a clan. If you watch their names in the upper left when they pop up, you'll notice they're in like A clan or A team clan or something. You ever watch the A team on television? What am I kidding? Nobody's seen that. I'm realizing, like, over time, how few people have seen anything that was made before they were, like, born, or how few people have seen anything, like, ever. Old movies. No one's seen, like Indiana Jones, I guess, counts as an old movie that nobody's seen anymore. I don't know. I'm talking to nerds on the internet, so you've probably seen all those movies, but, like, normal human beings, like, small human beings, like 18-year-olds, they haven't seen anything. It's crazy. I feel old. So anyways, Dietrich Keller is, I think, the first rifleman I purchased, or maybe the second or third. I'm buying individual riflemen. It's not a bad deal. For 10 points, you buy a rifleman, and it's 110 points to buy a regular infantry squad. Regular infantry squad comes with 8 men, 2 or 3 of which are submachine gunners, and 1 of which is a machine gunner. And so, for the 110 points, you could get 11 riflemen, which is more riflemen. And if you just want the riflemen, which I kind of do, I want the machine gunner too, but those are slightly more expensive. If you want the riflemen to do stuff like set up sandbags and to be long-range people who are just like, I want warm bodies on the, you notice here, me, it's been so long since I played, I accidentally brought up the scoreboard instead of highlighting the MG42. I just need warm bodies on this point to defend it against my opponent, to keep the opponent from rushing in, because as long as you have riflemen behind these sandbags, they're just not going to run up to you. It's too costly, even though they could bum rush you as long as you don't have a machine gun. Dietrich Keller, the rifleman, does pick up the machine gun from the dead machine gun. A very good tip for that. You should always know exactly, especially in the early game, but really throughout Men of War Assault Squad, but especially in the early game Assault Squad 2, you should always know where your machine guns are and pick them up when they go down. So now I'm in a bit of a sticky wicket, a bit of a tight spot, a bit of a wombat's asshole here, because we've got a heavy machine gun and a AA gun set up overlooking the middle, and so infantry are just going to get shredded if I go up against that. Light vehicle, really light vehicles like paper thin vehicles are just going to get shredded if I go up against that. Slightly heavier light vehicles like a Puma are probably going to get destroyed if I go up against that. The AA gun very quickly shreds up those medium light vehicles, so I'm going to have to buy at least a light tank. I go for the Panzerkampfwagen. I don't know how to say 3 in German. I don't know how to say 3 auf Deutsch. I keep wanting to say all these like German things because I was watching, if you know Imperial Dane, he's a Company of Heroes 2 shoutcaster. I don't usually watch his videos because I don't support Nazis, but he had a Western Front preview up the other day, so I was watching that, and he kept saying all these German words, and German is an awesome sounding language, so I want to emulate him, but seeing as I'm a Jew and not a Nazi, I don't know all these German words, so I can't keep up, but I can say Panzerkampfwagen, I can say Ausführung N. But anyways, I buy one of these because I need a tank to take on these things, and this is sort of an infantry support tank. It's got this stubby little gun, and the stubby little gun is not going to be very useful against tanks, but it's great because it reloads super fast, comparatively. I mean, you know, it takes a while to reload, but it reloads fast enough that it can put out some real damage. My opponent hopefully highlighting this machine gun, telling me that he wants me to blow it up. It's like, dude, I'm working on it. It reloads relatively fast, which means you can put more shells downrange, which is important. Number 1, to blow up these infantry before they run away. Number 2, if an AT gun comes and attacks you, you want to get that lucky hit on it and blow it up before it gets you. So now I've done a good job of cleaning off these infantry on the point. My opponent has taken advantage of this time to move up forward with some infantry, but they are quickly cleared off through a combination of my infantry and my tank. It was about this time when my ally keeps like pointing out stuff on the minimap that I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Because, like, really, what the fuck is my ally doing? What has my ally done all game? My ally's bravely secured his or her own point here on the left, which is great. I've done the same thing. But in terms of support in the middle, I feel like I haven't been getting much from my ally at this point in the game, 7 minutes and 40 seconds in. So try and be a good ally, you know? Actually, I guess my ally is being attacked on the left. So you know what? I'm noticing now on the minimap that I guess my ally has been fighting the whole time. So, good job, ally. Oh, and if you're quick, you can spot this AT gun I'm shooting at. I whiffed that shot. I maybe shouldn't have done it in direct control, but the reason I direct controlled was 2 reasons. Number 1, I was already in direct control. I was just having so much fun blowing stuff up that I was like, well, I'll take the shot, rather than try and take the time to turn off direct control and fire. The second reason is because the AI will only fire if it's got a shot lined up, but at that range with those trees in the way, sometimes it'll, like, just briefly, that was unfortunate running my men right by that when it blew up. Sometimes it'll briefly lose sight and then I'll have to reacquire a target and stuff, and so it just won't be as on the ball with firing. It won't just fucking like take the shot. And if you're in direct control, of course you can force it to take the shot. So I took the shot, I overshot, I missed the AT gun, and for missing the AT gun was able to fire back at my tank and it blew up. So that's unfortunate. The British do have access to pretty good AT guns. That 6-pounder is what became the American 57mm M5 AT gun, I think. So that's a fact I picked up from Imperial Dane last night, and is also more than able to penetrate the weak armor on my Panzer III, so that's unfortunate. That A gun is being repaired, and I see it, and I'm like conflicted. I kind of want to shoot the guy repairing it to stop it from being repaired. I also kind of want to shoot the people shooting at me, because the sooner I shoot the people shooting at me, the sooner it's going to be easy to shoot the guy repairing. Then I'm like, well, maybe I should shoot this guy repairing, because if that thing comes up, I'm fucked again. But then I'm like, well, I don't know. It's probably a good idea to kill it. So I don't, whatever. It would be nice to capture that thing, but there's just too many enemy infantry around there. So I have in the back of my mind, like, maybe I'll try and capture that, but I'm thinking, no, that's probably not going to happen. Again, picking up the machine gun, this time from, I think, that unfortunate casualty who got blown up while he's walking by the tank, or he got killed by something else like that. But notice I get that MG42 up and running, and immediately it just wipes 2 people, including one of the guys repairing that AA gun. This is despite the fact that it was picked up by a rifleman and it's like way the fuck away. So that's the value of picking up the MG42. Does not get the guy before he repairs that AA gun, apparently. So now that thing is back online. It's a pain in my asshole again. My asshole taking a huge pounding, as it normally does. So, you see I'm using this sort of wall back here. It's a staging area for my infantry. When they spawn, I tell them to sprint there. They use up all their stamina, and then from there I can sort of disperse them or send them into the fight. It's much better than selecting a point right in the middle of the map to sprint to, because if you sprint, then they'll get tired halfway through and arrive to the point sort of walking, and they'll get fucked. Or they'll sprint all the way there somehow. They'll recover their stamina, and they'll be sprinting when they get there, and they'll get shot by enemy infantry. So probably you want people behind enemy lines. And even from behind enemy lines, you notice here I'm taking some shots with my MG42s and my riflemen and actually putting some damage in on these people. At this point, you notice my ally is branching off into the middle, stepping to the right a bit and branching off into the middle, and so I'm feeling some of the love. I go to check what my ally is feeling, and of course it's a fucking artillery piece. People in this game, like people in every video game all across the internet, love artillery, because you just sit back and click on the enemy and let it do the work. Not that I'm begrudging anybody artillery. I have bought a mortar myself, the mortar being the only honorable artillery. Scientifically proven to be the only honorable artillery. So the heavy machine gun has been crewed again too, which means it's time to just bust out the mortar. I'm worried about this AT gun, so you notice I'm backing my Panzer III up. I'm like, ho, I didn't tell you to go that far, even though I'm sure I did at some point. I'm just gonna like park it between the trees. The goal is to probably clear out these heavy machine guns with the mortar at a fairly leisurely pace. You notice they're firing the fuck at this poor Ulf Krieg, the rifleman. I'm even pulling him back because I don't want him to die. And also my opponent's doing a really good job, or my ally's doing a really good job of baiting these things, so that's going to be make it easy. And my ally's also firing with the artillery. So between my ally and me, we just knocked out the 20mm and the heavy artillery, or the heavy machine gun. My ally knocking out the heavy machine gun with his FH-18 thing, and me knocking out the AA gun. So I got the better thing. I got the more important thing. I killed the AA gun. That's more. Anyways, so that's good. So that's going to give us a lot of breathing room. Now my idea is I'm going to wipe out the AT gun and maybe some soldiers, but that doesn't happen because it's a land mattress. I don't know who named it a land mattress, but that's what it was. It shoots rockets. It's a rocket launcher. If you didn't know it was a rocket launcher, that's where all the fucking rockets came from. You stupid piece of shit. So, I'm like, whatever. I guess let's just go in. I guess the land mattress won't be firing for another 20 minutes because it takes a while to put all those rockets back in the thing. It's rocket science, after all. So, I decide I'll move in with my infantry and maybe move in with my tank too and just shoot the AT gun. I'm like, hey, I'll shoot the AT gun. What tank? What's going to be wrong? You know, that's what fucking happens when you drive in and you try to shoot the AT gun with your tank. Your tank gets shot by the AT gun. What the fuck were you thinking, Tycho? I'm a stupid idiot. And the thing is, well, actually the heavy machine gun is back online. I was about to say the thing is, with the heavy machine gun and the AA down, there was no reason to take out that AT gun right then. I could have leisurely assaulted it with infantry. By the way, those 2 machine gunners back to back, fucking badass. It's like Bad Boys 2 or something. Like that. Some sort of, or maybe an 80s. No, that wasn't really, was that an 80s thing? It was certainly a 90s thing. 2 people back to back going fucking nuts with guns. Is Boondock Saints. Shitty movie. Anyways, that didn't last very long when the MG42ers dudes is dead, and my opponent's just like dumping infantry down into this point, and so I'm like, oh shit, Bruno Klein, tank commander, pick up the MG42, fucking go nuts, yeah, suck on this. Bruno Klein takes out his MP40. Because he's like, hey, these people are close. I'm better with an MP40. I better do that. But then Alexander Adler fucking goes nuts and mows down like 18 people. Might have been 2, but I wasn't counting. I was looking in the bottom left to find out what Alexander Adler's name was. It turns out it's Alexander Adler. Adler being German for asshole. There's a lot of assholes in this cast. So now we have a land mattress firing on the left, killing 1, 2, 3, 4 infantry. Not a good use of your land mattress, but whatever. And here's where my ally is really kicking it into high gear and being a boss. My ally is taking the point on the left, so that's pretty good. Pointing at the land mattress. Thanks Thanks. I see it. Yep, definitely a land mattress. If you're telling me so that I can go kill it, I've news for you. I'm not going to be able to handle that, okay? It's like literally as far from my spawn point as you can get on this map. There is nothing in the entire game, in the entire history of this Assault Squad 2 match, that it would be harder for me to deal with. So if you want to if you want that land mattress dead, it's not going to be me talking to my ally here. Whatever. So I buy some paratroopers. Dominic Adler. Hey, another asshole. So I buy a squad of paratroopers because I decide let's assault this point. I'm not making tremendous progress in the middle. There's just too much shit there. Mostly that AT gun and the machine guns. I can't move on the machine guns with my infantry, and I can't move on the machine gun with my tank because there's an AT gun. So I'm like, whatever. But I'm like, okay, let's do a simultaneous assault. It's gonna be fucking awesome. 2 fronts, no holds barred, all sorts. It's gonna be good. Is the plan. So I buy some paratroopers because they're badass, and I figure they'll be able to handle basically anything on the right. I wasn't expecting actually much resistance on the right. The plan was just to roll in with paratroopers and wreck the face of like whatever poor dipshits were lying around there, like smoking hashish or whatever, and protecting that point. So the plan was to roll in and smoke them and simultaneously mount an assault on the center while my ally did whatever the hell my ally is doing. Looks like assaulting the center with me, so that's pretty good. I do get knocked out by the 6-pounder. It's a good thing that this land mattress fucking like overreacts and blows up the tank instead of my infantry, because that would have been annoying. Instead, my infantry are completely unscathed, and I'm able to take the center. That tank was destroyed by the 6-pounder, but it did let me get close enough to do some damage. Meanwhile, I'm scouting over here on the right. There were some infantry. I've exchanged some desultory fire with them. Desultory, that's a nice $20 word. And now I'm just gonna run in and move in on the point because there's this crude weapon. 2 of them evaporate, and I actually knew there were mines here. I had seen some of these Royal Engineers, but I didn't know how badly it was mined or where it was mined, and I didn't have the time really to wait for somebody else to clear the mines. I thought about buying a minesweeper dude. I was like, that's not gonna happen, and because they always fucking die. I've like, well, that's over-exaggerating. I've successfully used them a few times, but I was like, whatever. And I didn't really want to buy some extra infantry to commit to this assault. I was like, I'll just send in a couple paratroopers. Maybe they'll sneak through, maybe they won't. So I have forced my opponent to commit another squad here. I'm also working on decrewing this 2-pounder, but it's not happening. I've taken the middle, though, that's the really important thing. If you're watching on the map, I don't know what my ally is pointing out. He actually highlighted something, but he or she. Yeah, so I've taken the middle. That's the really important thing. Oh, fuck, red smoke, get the fuck out, you're all gonna fucking die, get that, go, run, you motherfucker! That's what the red smoke means. Only lost 2 people there, though, so that was good. I didn't manage to notice it in time. It's kind of like Company Heroes 2, come to think of it. You see red smoke, get the fuck out of the way. That was in the original Men of War 2. You could throw a little artillery marker. Honestly not sure who throws those. The officers, I think, get them, but I don't know. Oh, and the radio artillery dudes. Yeah. My throat hurts. I haven't talked enough. I need to do more YouTube videos. Lothar Krieg. Lothar, is that an actual name? That's pretty badass. This guy's name is Matthäus Hartmann. I'm never gonna get tired of reading names in Men of War Assault Squad 2. I would say that's one of the top 20 best things about this video game. Let's name the 20 best things. Destructible terrain. People named Walter, like Walter Matthau. I wonder if you can get a Walter Matthau in this game. Do you know who Walter Matthau is? He's a movie star. He's dead now, though. Like many people, he's dead. Rupert Zimmerman. Delicious. So I'm now repairing 2 of my defunct Panzer IIIs. That should hopefully come in handy later on. Waste not, want not, as the saying goes. And here comes the red tide. The enemies are coming. So I decided to buy another paratrooper squad, led up by Gunter Huber, or maybe Gunter Huber, because they'll be badasses and they'll hold this point no problem. And then I'm like, well, I kind of don't want those paratroopers to get too beat up holding the point, and I would like to crush this assault and launch a counter-assault, which the Germans were famous for in actual World War II, localized counterattacks. All the time, so I'm like, let's buy a tank, because the only thing over there is a 2-pounder AT gun. Not going to really be able to punch through my Panzer III infantry support tank, so let's buy a tank that'll crush this infantry support, or crush this infantry assault, which it's doing right now, as you notice. And watch me get Rife Rockhour. Man, we got a lot of alliterative names this game. So I microed that paratrooper behind that hay bale to heal up, and that's pretty sweet. I don't think I lost a single paratrooper in this defense. I lost the 2 riflemen I had hanging out on this point, but they served their job. They were the vanguard. They noticed the opponent was attacking, and so they did not give their lives in vain. They gave their lives in a plane. In a field. Is a field a plane? I think a plane is a field is a plane. It's probably one of those words where we got one word from like Anglo-Saxon and one word from Latin, like pork and ham or pig, or like beef and steak or whatever. Anyways, paratroopers on this point. Set up some sandbags. I can't remember what the plan is. I think the plan is leave some of these paratroopers here, like Thomas Schmidt, and send some of the paratroopers over. Oh no, I bought another squad of paratroopers, it looks like, just now. I like the elite infantry. So we're 19 minutes 47 seconds into this game. We have 81 points, our opponent's got 2. So let's think about the mistakes they've made. Mistake number 1, giving me the center. Everything flows from that one mistake, like 30 seconds into the game, because once I got the center, I got a machine gun there. Once I got a machine gun there, my opponent had to set up these sandbags all the hell way back there in that field. Once my opponent had to set up those sandbags all the way back here. Here's a mistake. I repair the tank enough to jump in it, so I jump in it, jump on it, jump on it, I jump on it, and it immediately gets its shit pushed in, because the only parts I repaired were the parts that don't do the boom boom with the shoot gun. So that's stupid. Don't jump in until the boom boom shoot gun is ready to go, or at least if you jump in, run the fuck away immediately, which I didn't do. In retrospect, I ought to have done that, but I didn't. So one paratrooper squad is staying behind, new paratrooper squad's going forward. I still don't have a plan to deal with these mines, except I'm thinking maybe I'll just run over it with a tank. But it looks like my opponent still got that 2-pounder, which, obviously. So all of my riflemen are exploding, I guess, on the left. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, I'm feeling good about this attack. My paratroopers are behind a wall. My tank will blow up this gun. Blew up the gun, and oh fuck. The thing is, that wasn't as bad as it could have been, because my tank survived, and the ranges in this game are so long that I just fuck up the land mattress. So honestly, that wasn't a bad trade. A land mattress for a Panzer, for a paratrooper squad. Probably the land mattress cost a fuck ton more. No, probably the land mattress cost a ton more, maybe even a metric fuck ton more. And in any case, I can just buy another squad of paratroopers. Is what I immediately did, I think. And most importantly, the tank survived. So it lost a tread. It actually lost a tread before that, right? The 2-pounder, I think, knocked out the tread. It lost a tread, but who the fuck cares? But now I'm in trouble. Now the shit's hitting the fan. It's a Sherman, and I can't kill the Sherman. This is the infantry support tank. It's got a stubby little gun. It's got an adorable little baby gun. It's got a gun that's, you could compare it to a penis and make a joke about it, but I won't. I'm a mature. Anyways, also the forest is on fire, so my track is so damaged that and the guy repairing the track got killed. So this thing's gonna burn to death. It's like it's fucked. Look, it's gonna catch on. Yeah, now it catches on fire, I think. Anyways, it's dead. The Sherman would have killed it anyways. So I was like, I don't want to really buy a tank to fight the Sherman. I'm just gonna buy a Pack 40 and I'll defend. Okay, I'll defend. Because I've been defending the entire match. So let's go back. I was in the middle of explaining what my opponent had done wrong, but somehow I got off the topic. So they let me take the middle. By taking the middle, I forced them to set up that line from which they were fighting for most of the game. And that's just not an ideal point to be fighting from, because you can spend your entire game fighting over that point. And you know what that gets you? 2 points, where your opponent has 99. Because whoever's parked on the middle is going to win. And it's not just where the front line's calcified. It's not just where the fighting is happening from. It's what is on each player, or what each player has to do. I've just had to defend, basically. I've attacked a bit on the right, but I've just had to defend mostly in the middle. And the opponents have just had to attack, and they haven't been great about attacking. They've been slow about it. They've just been buying the AA guns, the heavy machine guns, and the damage they've been doing with those are much, much, much less than they would have been doing if I had been throwing many, many men into the middle trying to take that point. If they had set up that AA gun and the heavy machine gun while they had the middle point, I would have been fucked beyond belief. I would have had to throw man after man and vehicle after vehicle away at that point in an effort to take it back so that we don't lose. But instead, our opponents, yes, they got some kills. They got some good kills. They got some good damage done with that AA and that HMG. But honestly, nothing. They killed nothing compared to what they would have been killing had my ally and I been attacking that point. So it's all about who's being forced to take the initiative and who's being forced to walk into the lion's den. I guess the tulip has a rocket launcher on the top. This is what it looked like. I'm not really sure about that shit. But it's all about who's being forced to run into the slings and arrows of outrageous misfortune. And if you can force your opponent to run into that shit, you'll be golden. Golden like a goose. I set my pack 40 here up in the fields, which honestly could use some harvesting. Fucking lazy ass farmers all around here. I guess we're in Germany, if it's UK versus Germany, or we could be all sorts of places. Oh look, somebody added me to my friends list. Jake, checkmark. I didn't notice that while I was playing. Oh, I set up the pack in the field and I set it to return fire because I didn't want it to open fire on the infantry. And I'm also using a tank to move in on the middle, and actually getting some work done. My tank is fucking lobbing shells, the Sherman, which is a bad idea. Go away, Panzer III. You drunk, go home. So, you'll notice I've really dumped some money into these tanks. I bought 2 Panzer IIIs. I was trying not to run over that sandbag for my ally, but I accidentally sort of ran over it. Oh, look, it's the land mattress. Uh-oh, well, you moved pretty far forward. Boom, motherfucker. I actually didn't kill it just now. But I'm going to kill it now, I think. Or just decrewed, so who cares. Yeah, so I spent a lot on tanks. That tank got knocked out by a 6-pounder, so that same fucking AT gun, that's responsible for, I think, 4 Panzer III kills by now, so that's a fucking champ. But my allies move forward to take the middle point this time, so bravo, ally! You get a gold star. I said that slightly sarcastically, but it's actually really good. So now I'm like, oh, this is good. My opponent clearly doesn't know I have a pack 40 here. I've set it up in the field, and it's set on hold fire, so it's a mystery. So the plan was to shoot the tank destroyer first for a pretty much guaranteed kill. But then I'm like, look, the Sherman has actually shown its side to me. This is a perfect angle, and it's a better target to kill the Sherman. So let's kill the Sherman, and boom! Fuck you, Sherman! Hull damaged, and my opponent now is like, oh, that's not actually a good thing. I should probably go, oh, you're fucked. So I'm feeling pretty good right now. I just killed a tank destroyer and a Sherman, seeing as they're both disabled with their armor pointing like basically straight at me. And I just fucked up a Crusader AA tank, huh? Oh, look at that. That was like so good. That was better than 6. Not actually, but almost. Now it's better than 6 because I've set the Sherman on fire. So that was just so good. This is the good thing about just having AT guns hidden. When your opponent's feeling cocky, your opponent's like, hey, my opponent Tycho hasn't even captured back that point. I bet Tycho doesn't have shit there. Turns out Tycho hasn't captured that point because he's a lazy motherfucker. Not because he's actually weak. He's actually got a ton of fucking paratroopers here, plus a pack 40. Really, Tycho was just cleverly lying in wait, ready to ambush, and you got baited like a fish. Or other things that go for bait. Mice go for bait? Do squids go for bait? Are squids fish? Squids are cephalopods. I don't know what a cephalopod is. I don't know if a squid is a cephalopod either. If you know what a cephalopod is, post a comment on this YouTube video. Or on Google+. I'm not picky. I don't check Google+ though, so don't post it there. If you don't know what a squid is, post on Google+. And press like on this video. There's no like button anymore, it's just a thumbs up. There hasn't been a like button on YouTube since before most of you were born. Oh boy, it's another Sherman off in the distance if you can see it. That's unfortunate for this tank, because I'm going to get fucked up. You know what's also unfortunate for this tank? The fucking 6-pounder, which is still alive somewhere. What am I doing driving up there? I don't know. Anyways, we still have 3 out of the 5 points, so our points are still ticking up. Here's my opponent doing something interesting, sending in some tank crewmen. Now they're dead. This has been an exciting lesson in video games. My tank is still fucking shooting the Sherman. I don't like... What? Why are you picking that fight? Well, you can't... You're a fucking idiot. Panzerkampfwagen 3 Ausführung M. You're gonna get your shit pushed in. But... Obviously it doesn't know that. It's stupid. So I bought a Panzergrenadier squad. This is kind of a weird thing. I don't know why I keep escalating to heavier elite infantry over here when I know that point is mined up. I think my idea is like, look, I'm just going to send some badasses in. They're going to kill literally everybody there. I'll have so much breathing room, I can do whatever shit I want. I can send in a minesweeper. I can send in Foxsturm. I could send in a vehicle to drive over the shit. I don't know. You'll notice I've been sprinting them to a point and then letting them recover, and then sprinting them. These guys recover stamina really fast, by the way. They would make pretty sweet long distance runners, or short sprint dash runners. I don't know. I just lost a lot of fucking guys to a land mattress in the center or some shit like that. I don't care. I buy these people like Americans buy Coca-Cola all the time, and then I drink it, and then I get fat. Not actually true. I'm talking about Americans buying Coca-Cola and drinking it and get fat. I don't drink Coca-Cola. Number one, because it's a waste of money. Number two, because I don't like sugary stuff. It's bad for your teeth. Number three, it makes me sort of if I drink a lot of it. It's not good for you. Don't drink soda, kids. Drink healthy things like water or Red Bull. So these Panzergrenadiers encountering more resistance than I would have liked. They're just being shot from a lot of angles, and no matter how badass you are, a lot of angles are never a lot of fun. Oh, by the way, my ally's name is Killzone. My opponent's names are A-Team Faceman and A-Team Hannibal. I'm assuming they are both on the A-Team clan, and that's not just a huge, massive coincidence, and that their avatars are similar because they're both on the A-Team clan, not because there's a huge, massive coincidence. So here's this Puma. Everything looks dead over here except the anti-infantry stuff. Namely, I think I knocked out the 2-pounder long ago. And so I think my Puma has free reign, and then the plan is I'll drive in the Puma over the mines once this place is clear. Once my Panzergrenadiers have some breathing room, I'll just drive the Puma over the mines because I think they're anti-infantry mines, and that'll be ideal. Because the Puma will be like, "What was that? Was that a mine? Oh, I did not know it was a mine. I heard a little pop as we drove over it. It's like a firecracker. We can make a sound as we drive over the mines. Hey, Fritz, why not drive over the mines to make it sound like the German national anthem? Ho 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 ho! Oh, we hit a mine! That was exciting! Oh, let's go forward again. Maybe let's shoot some of these people first. I hit the tree. Nice. Perfect. Yeah, so my Puma is really destroying. No! Oh, wait, no, that was... No! We hit another mine! Oh, we're fucked. So I don't know if that was an AT mine, or if actually anti-personnel mines can just kill a Puma if you drive over them sometimes. So if you know the answer to that question, write it on a piece of paper and kiss it and send it to me, or post it on a YouTube comment. Either one of those will work. Spray it with some cologne first too. So notice all these infantry I've got in reserve, not these people I have selected, those tank crewmen behind the rock who are worth fuck all, because they were going to recruit the Panzer IIIs once I repaired them, but the Panzer IIIs got destroyed. So notice all those infantry I have in reserve. If you look on the mini-map, they're sort of the diagonal line in the middle. They're just hanging out. They're ready to go. But these Panzergrenadiers are not. Paul Borg is the Borg. That's where the Star Trek got it from Paul. My ally losing a lot of Foxsturm, as if anybody's ever cared about that. Okay, so things are looking pretty great for us. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say they're at 126 out of 50, 150. That's the numerical ranking I'd give them. And things are looking pretty bad for our opponents. On a scale of 1 to 10, again, I would give them 7 out of 150. So, on the plus side for my opponents, I'm out of money. Like, I don't have any money left. I can't buy anything else. So, that's really good for them. And the thing is, here's where the game sense comes in, okay? Use your brain. So you know I don't have any money. You can see that. You can look over on the right. I have 156 MP, which is manpower or something, and I'm getting plus 0.4 per second or something, so that's not going to help. So I'm pulling some people back. That's That's my income. What do you think their income is like? What do you think their money is like? I hypothesize that they're out of money too. Why? Because these two fucking Bren carriers are driving forward and trying to kill us. Who does this? Who does this unless you're out of stuff? Unless you're like, I don't have any more stuff. Let's take the Bren carriers that came with our land mattresses, because these come when you buy a land mattress. They're towing the land mattress. Let's take the Bren carriers that come with our land mattress and drive them in, because I have fuck all. Do you have anything, ally? No, I don't have anything. I'm your ally. I have fuck all. The other hint is that we also saw some heavy tanks. There's a heavy tank right there. So I think he or she blew all the money and is down to just that heavy tank, which is maybe a hero unit or maybe the last of the money. And now it's the March of the Bren carriers. Yeah, the Black Prince, a hero tank. So opponent's dipping into the hero points now, having run out of... Oh, and militiamen. Those are hero units too, right? That or they're the shittiest. Either way, that betokens... Yeah, they're the shittiest. But that betokens a lack of money. Here's an unfortunate thing. All my people over here are fucked. That's really bad. I can't really afford that right now, because I need to hold that point. So I'm like, well, shit. Well, shit. Fuck me. How am I going to hold this point? I just did destroy Bren Carrier, though, so that's exciting. What am I going to do? I have Nicholas Arzd, and a Pack 40. So my opponent, I'm guessing at this point, doesn't have much, but I am still a little worried. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Let's get out of the gun. Get out of the fucking gun. I pressed that button. You actually have to click somewhere to tell them to get out, so they didn't get out and they got fucked. So I'm like, what am I going to do? I gotta defend this point. And so I buy... What did I just buy? I guess I had enough money for a squad of Panzer... Or a normal squad. Yeah, so I buy a squad. Hopefully I can hold the point with this, but I'm like, that's not gonna be enough. Fucking Tiger. And also, while I'm at it, fucking Brandenburgers. Oh, I'm not recording my mouse on this video, I just noticed, so I'll have to turn that on. So the reason I bought the Brandenburgers instead of the Fallschirmjägers actually, also I fucked that armored car up. So that's the sort of thing you buy when you're low on points, the armored car at this point in the game. So the reason I bought the Brandenburgers instead of the Fallschirmjägers, even though the Fallschirmjägers would have been much better at what I want right now, which is a frontline troop, they would be better because, number one, they come in this fancy half-track, and the half-track is a nice support unit and also gets them around pretty quick. And number two, they've got better guns, basically. They've got the G43s and the FG42s, whereas the Brandenburgers, I think, have G43s and cars and MP40s. Some of the Fallschirmjägers are MP40s too. Anyways, I tend to like the Fallschirmjägers better as infantry fighters. I bought the Brandenburgers because they're only 2 points instead of 3, and I was going to spend the last remaining point on a veteran sniper, and I was going to use the veteran sniper to hunt down and destroy all of my opponent's infantry on this point, and then use them to scout for me to see people coming in. I actually forgot to buy the veteran sniper ever, so I never did that in this game, but that was the plan. The Brandenburgers go to the middle. Or actually no, they go halfway between the middle and this point, but I try and take this point back just with the infantry I've got around here and the veteran tiger, because I'm feeling pretty good about the veteran tiger. So now it's time to start moving in the Brandenburgers, but it looks like we're going to have this under wraps if I can take this point on the right back, because we're at 137, they're at 10, and it's looking like they're pretty low on points. I was able to buy this infantry squad, not the Brandenburger squad, the original infantry squad, because I am still getting manpower, +4 manpower per second. That's your payback manpower or whatever. I don't know if it's payback or whatever it is. I do lose a track here. SAS guy gets me. That's what happens when you don't have a lot of infantry to protect your tiger, but whatever. It's alive. I'll repair the track. It'll live. That could have been worse. He should have gone for the engine, that little SAS man. That's a tip. You ever attack any tank, especially from behind when it's just automatically easier, you need to target the engine specifically. The engine almost always on the back of the tank. I'm not sure there's any tanks with the engine not on the back. If you know a tank with the engine not on the back, post it in a YouTube thing and subscribe to my channel. Why subscribe? Because I fucking told you to. Don't argue with me, you piece of shit. So, yeah, that Tiger engine is particularly exposed right there on the back. And my turret wasn't even facing in that direction, so SAS dude really ought to have targeted the engine. You can do that just by clicking, right-clicking, or double right-clicking is better, because then they instantly pull out their AT grenade. Yeah, that's a tip you might not know. I don't know. Do you know anything about this game? I know stuff about this game. I've been playing this game. I know some tips. I'll give you a tip. You want to hear a tip? I'll give you a tip. Tip incoming. Get ready. Get out your tip jar. Get out your tip pen and paper. Write the tip down and stick it in the fucking tip jar. Are you ready for this shit? Prepare your mind. Meditate, and be ready for the tip. Are you ready? We're entering the tip zone with Tipper Gore. Do you remember Tipper Gore? I don't think her name is Tipper Gore anymore. I think she and Al Gore got divorced. Okay, so you see this engine? I want to attack that engine. I double right click on that engine. My dude instantly pulls out his AT shit, which in this case is a Panzerfaust, and fires it at the engine. Turns out not to do a goddamn thing. It hits the tread first because it's Panzerfaust, so it flies in mostly a straight line. Didn't arc up enough, so that's unfortunate. Gets himself fucked. But now it's Dominic Postman's turn. Dominic Postman, he was a Postmaster General in his previous life. He's been greatly demoted now. He's not a general anymore. He's just a fucking guy crawling through the mud and the dirt and the grass and the lilies of the field. But that's okay, because he's going to get close enough to fucking throw a grenade onto the engine, and that's blown up. And you notice you can highlight the engine in red like you can highlight all the parts of the tank in red just by hovering over them. So they're saying GG because we fucking kicked their asses. Oh yeah, everyone says Tycho sucks at Meta War. Guess what? Some people suck more than Tycho. Probably not you. Experiences have shown that people who watch this channel are typically better at the game than me, but these two motherfuckers aren't. So that's exciting. Thank you to my ally for being not a shithead, and thank you to everybody for watching. I love each and every one of you.